Alright, Andre, I'm beginning to think that 8 is your lucky number because at this preview event you went to, you not only got the chance to play Octopath Traveler, but the Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion DLC. So let's talk about Octopath first, and what did you end up thinking of this new gameplay?
It's good, yeah. I got to play the game for about 30 minutes or so. Going into the preview event, I hadn't played the demo yet, so I started playing that to give myself an idea of what to expect from the gameplay. And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed the demo, because I'm not one who typically likes JRPGs too much, and yet I found myself enthralled by it. And I was happy to see that my playtime with the more complete version of the game, and it continued to impress on the same level, if not more, that the demo did. For one, it included some quality of life improvements since the demo. I believe you could run now faster, though don't quote me on that. You can also skip cutscenes now, which is a huge benefit if you keep getting stuck on like the same boss fight, for instance, like I did in the demo. Beyond that, though, I got a better idea of the story, some more voice acting, and also what it's like to have combat with more than one character. Because I think the demo, you only had one character for both halves of it, right?
I believe so. I know you could recruit another character, but you didn't really have direct control over them with Primrose. So, yeah, you actually had a full party.
Right, yeah. So I had a full four, well, that's tough to say. A full party of four. A party of four, I guess. Going through these battles, which definitely give me a better look at how the combat works. Because one, the really cool thing about this game is it's built around finding these enemies' weaknesses, that way you can exploit it, causing a break in the enemy, which basically stuns them, which then gives you the chance to go in and just really just beat them to a pulp while they're weak and their defenses are down. So by having four characters, it gives you a better opportunity to kind of experiment and see what they're weak to. Because going into each battle, you have no idea what these enemies, what their weaknesses are, unless you've encountered them before. So it really is all about experimenting and finding what their weak spots are. And below each enemy, it actually tells you how many, there's like question marks, which denotes how many weak points they have. And once you find one, that question mark becomes visible, and you can then see permanently, what moves you want to use against them to break them down and stun them. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. On top of that, having teammates also is useful for like healing your allies, and just gave me a better, more well-rounded look at the combat. Fundamentally, it's a JRPG, right? So you kind of know what to expect. It's turn-based. The real differences is in the weaknesses and the shield breaks.
Okay, yeah, it sounds pretty similar to the demo, just a bit more of a complete vision of it. So what exactly were you doing in the demo? You obviously had a full team of 4, but what was the goal that you were trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so I have to be careful here, because Nintendo told me not to talk about the story too much in a JRPG. So, so that's a little bit tough. Basically, though, I was playing as Cyrus, who's a scholar that left an academy in search of a lost or ancient tome. So, it's a tomb he'd heard about, and he's on the search for it. So, as part of this, you can go around town, and you talk to other characters that may know about this tome.
Anyhow, here we are.
Yes, I'll be right there.
It's been some time, Odette.
And what's cool is one of his abilities, so each character has a special ability in this game, and his ability was, he's kind of like a detective sort, so he can scrutinize citizens. So I could walk up, basically interrogate them almost, and they'd give me information that I could use. So I went around town, interrogated a few citizens, and they gave me enough information that I could basically build a case almost, where once I had all the clues, a little cutscene happened, and it would walk me through it step by step, and it's like, so I learned this information, so I want to go check out this, and it would give you 3 options to choose, should I go here, or go here, and then if you messed up, you could just choose it again, basically.
Okay.
But it reminded me a little bit of Detective Pikachu almost, right? Where it walks you through the things, and you're kind of building the case. And then so once you go through that whole cutscene, you know what you need to go do, and then you can go on to the next objective, and or to the next area just to continue onward in your quest. So yeah, it was kind of cool, and then as part of that, I heard more voice acting, which is right in line with the demo, where it's there are parts of it that are fully voiced, and then it'll go into text-only portions, and the voice acting is competent throughout in my experience. So yeah, and the presentation in general is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that caught people's eye right from the beginning, is just how good the game looked. And when I played the demo, I was shocked, 1, to find voice acting, and 2, how good it really was.
Yeah, it's really good.
is Cyrus's story, it doesn't sound as dark as Primrose's, because as you've probably noticed from the demo, Primrose's story got really dark.
It starts really dark. It gets darker. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but is Cyrus a bit more lighthearted? Like, are we working with different tones here, or is it going to be this same sort of depressing setup for each character?
I don't know about different tones, but I do know about different tomes.
Oh, God.
There we go, yeah. I mean, I would say it's similar. I mean, I think it was a little bit lighter just inherently lighter, but just with the subject matter. Mm-hmm. But it definitely hit on some adult themes too, as I recall. I can't get into them really again, just I can't talk about the story. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a level of maturity in this game that seems on a level higher than of JRPGs I used to play back in the day. So I'm coming from the perspective of one who hasn't played one really since the 16-bit era. So I don't know how relevant that knowledge is. But it felt to me like a really mature Final Fantasy VI, right?
Yeah.
So, where it's definitely hitting on even more adult themes than that game did. In a more adult manner as well. So yeah, to answer your question, it's a little bit lighter, but there's definitely some mature themes there.
Okay. That's really cool. Was there anything else that you can really talk about with the game, since you obviously can't talk about the story, but is there anything else that stood out to you that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of hit on it. Again, there's not too much to say. If you play the demo, you kind of know what to expect. Just rest assured the combat works with 4 people. The battles are a ton of fun. I really enjoyed that aspect, plus it helps that the music is fantastic. And yeah, the story was compelling. I really just can't wait I want to play more of this game. So, and this is coming again from someone who's not a big guy, not a big fan of JRPGs in general. So, there you go.
I'd call that a good sign. So
I'd say so. Yeah. I mean, it really does feel it feels like a more modern 16-bit era JRPG. Mm-hmm. I love the visuals of this game, where it's both old school but feels modern, with how it has those cool depth of field effects. The towns feel lived in. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. The moment I saw this, I was I wouldn't mind a Final Fantasy VI remake in this style.
Right?
Yeah, it'd be awesome. But, let's move on to our other Octo game, and you actually got the chance to play the Octo Expansion, and from everything I've seen so far, it looks like it's very much more challenge-based than an actual level like the main game. And is that how it actually is, now that you've played it?
That's totally what it is. Yeah, it feels very much like you have these tiny, bite-sized objectives or challenges, which are pretty difficult, though. That's the thing. These are no cakewalks, even though you do earn cakes for going through them, Mem cakes specifically. But yeah, these are basically bite-sized challenges that will challenge you. They will really put your skills to the test, but they're fun. They're rewarding. It's once you get past one, it feels good to get through it. But I played through maybe 5 or 6 of them, and they didn't feel overbearing, but they were, like I said, no cakewalks either. So they found a really good balance of the ones I played in being challenging but not too difficult.
Okay, that's awesome. I like that extra bit of challenge, especially with DLC. Okay, I got this game, presumably. I've played it a bunch. Show me what you can do. So, what were some of the challenges you actually got to play?
Yeah, so I mean, the cool thing about them is how it uses mechanics we've already used a bunch in the games in kind of new ways. So for instance, the first challenge I took on was one where you're playing with the jetpack, where you have to fly through these onion ring looking things. Maybe they're calamari rings or something, I don't know. And in order to do it, you have to dive through the rings by turning into a squid. You have to cross gaps quickly so you don't lose elevation. You have to maneuver through these rings as you're falling distances. It's really tricky and makes you use a jetpack in ways you haven't before. Another challenge had me standing on an arena made of cardboard boxes with different enemies attacking me. So as you're attacking the enemies, you're destroying these boxes. So you're destroying the very platform you're on while you're trying to target the enemy. So you have to be very careful with how you aim your shots so you don't completely destroy all the territory you're on. Especially because the weapons you have are a bucket, as well as a secondary one being I forget what it's called, a grenade type thing. Mm-hmm. So you're taking out tons of boxes at a time, anytime you miss. So definitely made for a risk versus reward type challenge. Another one had you rolling an 8-ball along a track, using your gun. So you have to carefully roll it along without rolling it off a ledge. Otherwise, you have to restart at a checkpoint. So there are checkpoints throughout some of these challenges, by the way. Once you trigger it, you just restart there. But I think it costs you money each time, or at least when you restart a challenge. So you do earn like currency through these, but as you saw in your analysis, when you start a challenge, you go through a subway type gate thing, and so that ends up costing you money. So that's your incentive for not doing terribly in these.
Don't screw up too much.
Another challenge, one of my favorites actually, was a shooting gallery, where you have this giant circular platform ahead of you almost, or like a track, these enemies on a track, that are completely stationary at first, but there are 2 targets on either side of you, and if you spin them, if you hit them, they start spinning, which causes the carousel to start spinning, which allows you to target the enemies as they move past you. The catch, though, is some of those enemies are jerks, and you don't want them, and they'll shoot you as they're going past. So you can dictate how fast they go by as you depending on how fast you spin the targets near you. So it was just a really cool mechanic. So you can take shelter as they're going by to try and protect yourself, but at the same time you need to target them as they're going by. So it's just a really cool idea. And then finally, in the final challenge I played, you use the baller power-up or mechanic, whatever it is. It reminded me of Monkey Ball, where you're in a ball, you're rolling yourself around, and you're going through these crazy bank turns. You're shooting up ledges. You want to maintain momentum without going too nuts, so you don't shoot off a ledge. It's just crazy. You can watch my gameplay and get a better idea than how I can describe these, probably. But yeah, really, the overall sense of this is these are really bite-sized challenges that you go through kind of almost rapid fire, really. And they felt good. They felt fun. So I still have yet to see how they feel, in a larger context, or, when you play through these within the context of the proper story mode, because unfortunately Nintendo wasn't showing me the hub. They actually hid it from me. They wouldn't show it to me at all. They just kept taking me from one challenge to the next, so I don't have a great idea of how they fit into the larger whole. So I'm very curious to see how that all works together. The fact that they're keeping it such a mystery makes me very curious as to how that's going to, how they're all going to fit together.
Yeah. Did you get to see anything of the story of this?
Nothing. No,
really?
They completely hid it. I only saw the challenges.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because all we've seen is, Agent 8 waking up with no memory and encountering Captain Cuttlefish and Pearl and Marina, and that's about it.
Yeah, the only thing I really learned about it is that we're going to learn more about Captain Cuttlefish as well as Pearl and Marina as you play through the story. So you'll get more background information on them, as well as presumably your own origins, being Agent 8, who just wakes up in this test facility underground. But that's it. That stuff I think we already knew. So I learned nothing more about it. But I want to. That's kind of the fun thing, right? Mm-hmm. So even though I gotta play it, it's still a mystery to me too. So I want to know what that mystery is. I want to see how it's resolved, and I want to play through more of these challenges. So.
Hey, at least they got the hooks in there.
That's it. It's fun. It's really fun. This is the kind of campaign I was hoping for from Splatoon 2 originally, because it feels very different from how Splatoon 1 felt, which Splatoon 2's own campaign didn't so much. So I like that this feels different. Now, ultimately, we have yet to see how it'll hold up in the full review, but I like what I've seen so far. It seems promising, and I like that they're using mechanics we're already familiar with in new, interesting ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like just a really great sense of what you can do from this point, and it really is just what we're hoping for. I'm honestly curious if they're going to have bosses in these challenges in some way, because I'd love for them to make up for the kind of lackluster final boss of Splatoon 2 with a really great final boss with this game.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. I have a feeling they'll... I guess we don't know there's boss fights yet for sure, do we? Right?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any.
But there has to be, right?
I would hope, or at least a final boss, one final big boss, thing to take on.
I don't know. All I know is I want to play more of this.
That's a good sign. You only got to play 5. How long did it take you to get through those 5 challenges? Because we know there's 80 challenges in total. Right. This will give us a good idea of how long the DLC actually will be. If
I had to estimate, I would say probably 3 to 5 minutes for each one. Okay. Depending. The difficulty did vary. But yeah, I think it was only a few minutes for each one. But even with that being the case, 80 challenges multiplied by just 2 is a few hours right there.
That's true.
And I'm guessing these were probably all more early game challenges. Actually, not all of them are early game. I know that for a fact. But yeah, I have a feeling. I have a feeling this will justify its cost. Again, It's too early to say for sure, but based on what I saw, I'm not too concerned about that. So
Yeah. Seems like
well, I guess wait. Do we even know the cost yet? Maybe I shouldn't be saying
I
that
think
because we
I
don't.
think it's 20, but I don't know if I'm pulling that number out of nowhere. I think it is 20 for this DLC.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So,
But I mean, it does get you these story missions, and of course, once you complete the story mode with Agent 8, you'll be able to actually play as an Octoling in the multiplayer. So
Right.
that might be worth it for some people just there. So
yep.
I don't know. I from everything you've said and everything I've seen so far, that justifies the cost for me. For me, I'm totally down for picking this up. Was there anything else you wanted to say about the Octo expansion, or does that pretty much cover it?
Not too much. I mean, what you see is what you get. And we've already been covering the videos they've been putting out on the Japanese Twitter account, well, and I guess NOA and NOE. Even.
Yeah, it's this weird thing where each account has been putting out different videos. It's not the
Yeah.
same one each time. There's different challenges from each region. It's
It's a little bit unusual. So yeah, I mean, if you've seen those and if you watch our own gameplay, you kind of already know what to expect. The big mystery is how it all fits together. So that's something we're going to have to find out together.
Well, there you go. So, all right. Well, I think that covers our previews of Octopath Traveler and the Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And of course, make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Splatoon, Octopath, and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye.